This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment only. Today, I want to talk about the main companies that I invest in. These are very serious investments. They're the kind of companies that I would consider putting 100,000 or maybe more even into. They are very solid long-term plays that I plan to hold on to. Something very drastic would have to happen for me to completely sell out of one of these companies. They are all long-term trends. They're mostly based on the internet. I didn't try to do this, but I think every one of them ends up being a stock that Kathy Wood is investing in. And I think when I ran across Kathy Wood, and this is before she became popular, my thought was, geez, here's somebody finally what I've been looking for. She invests in the next big thing, which I think is what most of us are trying to do. But she does it with a clear philosophy, which hadn't been enunciated before, and I admire that so much about her. The first company on the list, of course, is Tesla. Tesla is probably the all-time hot stock. I've made a lot of money on Tesla, and I've been in and out of it, and it hasn't hurt me because I've caught it on the upside and I've caught it on the downside, so it tended to balance themselves out because they always recovered from the mistake of selling Tesla, which was always a mistake, except in early 2021, it definitely was good to sell it because then it went down a couple hundred. But now it's making movement like it's coming to life. And I think they have so much going on with the Cybertruck coming, the semi coming. They got 2 gigafactories that are getting built and put into motion. I think there's so much upside to the stock that we are now starting to get to reasonable levels. I remember the days of investing in it when its PE was over 1,000, and now it's like 136 or something. So it's and that will only get more reasonable as time goes on. There's a reason it's in the S&P 500. In looking at the chart since the beginning of the year, we can see that Tesla's had a rough ride in 2021. I sold in January in the 800s, so I was very happy about that. And I've been trying to get back in ever since then with limited success. I've made a little money, but not much. And basically, I guess we're waiting for those famous Tesla runs, okay? It's set in the 750s now, and I think it's getting ready to take off just with everything that's going on. I think it's going to take off, and we're going to get some of those runs. Earlier, I said about the price-earnings ratio. I should say that the present price-to-earnings ratio is 396. But its forward price-to-earnings ratio is about 120. And the forward price-to-earnings ratio is what I look at because I think there's so much reason to believe that they're going to increase their production and their revenue that it's more fair to use that. I think buying Tesla below 800 is a screaming buy right now. Let's take a look and see what VectorVest thinks of it. And looking at the VectorVest ratings, VectorVest sees it as a safe stock with huge upside potential. The only thing that's in yellow is timing, and that is always the question, isn't it? But I think we're given indication by developments at Tesla that the timing is probably pretty good. So I think it's definitely a buy, and it's something that I will dive into. and I'm not going to shake out unless it goes down a lot, uh, because I think it's right when I hear other people say it's going to hit 900 this year. I think that's probably about right. I think it could go as high as 1200 into the early part of next year, but we will see what happens. My next high conviction stock is Palantir. This is the company of secret data. It's rumored they helped find Osama bin Laden. They've never confirmed it, but they've never denied it either. They have a government data analysis section that is stable, and that will probably always be there. They are so in with the FBI and the CIA and all manner of government agencies like that, including the CDC, regarding the country's health and things like that. But they will always provide a service, and they're very patriotic in a way. Their feelings about their work with that, but they are continually expanding into the commercial area, and it's getting to the point where we may soon see that the commercial side starts to generate more revenue than the government side. We look at the chart. Palantir has always been around the high teens to the low 20s and up to 24, but in the last month it's been making movement, and it's around 26 now. And I think it's because institutions and major funds are starting to discover them and invest in them. It takes a while to explain this company, and they're also hampered by the fact that what they do on the government side for sure is secret, but with major corporations, a lot of that information has to be kept secret too, and only person they really trust to talk about that stuff is their leader, Alex Karp. And Alex Karp admittedly is not a salesman, and he knows that, and that's actually one of his points for the company is, look, I'm the front man for this company. I'm not that good of a front man, and look how good the company is doing. It's a $52 billion market cap company, and I think it's being discovered, and Kathy Wood can't buy enough of this stock, and I'm reluctant to not believe in her deep conviction stocks. If we look at VectorVest, we would not buy the stock because they're worried about safety, upside potential, and are on the line, let's say, regarding timing. So overall, they don't think this probably is the time to invest, or they would give it maybe a neutral rating overall, that they don't see it as a particularly bullish stock. And I think this might be one of those that slowly grows until it's going to be like a train, going up a roller coaster, I guess. We just hope we don't hit the downside, and I don't think we're going to hit the downside, simply because that's sort of what I expect with this company, is that it keeps chugging along, and it keeps gradually going up, and that's sort of what it's been doing. It used to go down to the teens quite regularly, and it's sort of stopped doing that now, and is hanging in the mid 20s and is starting to go to the upper 20s. And I think that's why the timing is seen as favorable on this. I just think Kathy Woods is right when she says she doesn't think Wall Street really understands the stock, and as they understand it more, it'll become more of a safe stock with much more upside potential. But it's probably going to take a while, and that's okay with me. I also, there's a safety in this, in that it hasn't run up a lot. which I think protects it from a downside. And I've heard brokers recommend this as a stock that's unlikely to go down drastically, that it hasn't had the big pop, and so it's likely not to go down if the market pulls back. Tesla and Palantir are two of my 6 high conviction stocks that I'm investing in a major way. I'll present another 2 in the next video. Please be sure to subscribe to receive further updates, and like the video if it's useful to you, because it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks a lot.